I have this really old and beat up copy of Tetris that I bought at a pawn shop about 10 years ago. It actually came loaded into a Super Game Boy cartridge. I figured I'd just keep it so that it can act as a cover for the Game Boy slot on the Super Game Boy. I honestly never really considered playing it, but as soon as I got my analog pocket, I popped the game in and gave it a try and realized why it made the Game Boy so popular. This thing is obnoxiously addictive. It made me want to give this game a second life, so I had the idea to replace the cartridge and label with a new one. But while browsing for replacement shells, I found some really colorful ones, particularly this lavender color. The graphic designer in me will never not let me make something pretty. Alright, so to get started, it's actually really simple. There's only one screw that you need to undo. The tricky part is the screwdriver itself, since you need a special gaming screwdriver. Once we remove the shell, all that has to be done afterwards is transfer the circuit board from the old shell to the new. And once the circuit board is inside of the new shell, we just need to add the replacement label. I found the shell and screwdriver on Amazon. The label is from Etsy. Links are in the description if you want to buy some yourself. Tell them Luis sent you. Let's go ahead and pop this guy open. With the screwdriver, remove the screw as you would any other. To open, you want to slide the front half of the cartridge downwards. Once it comes off, we can see the circuit board that holds the game. Usually, if you see those black blobs, it means that the game was a fake. But with Tetris and early Game Boy games, that's just how they looked. Now let's do the same for the replacement shell. Once open, we just need to do a quick transplant of the circuit board. But first, let's take a moment to appreciate how this thing looks. It has held up surprisingly well considering the abuse the shell has endured. Also, it looks really pretty to see the reflections as you tilt it back and forth. The contacts could be cleaner, but that's okay. Drop it into the new shell and reattach the screw, and just like that, your game has a new home. Let's test it out and make sure it works. As you can see, it boots up like any other cartridge. Now onto the difficult part, applying the replacement label. The shell has an indent for where the label goes. You just want to try your best to get it as centered as possible. Let's peel this bad boy off and give it a try. I'm using a pair of tweezers. I felt that it would make it easier, but you can do it without it. I was just trying to be a fancy boy. As you can see, it can be removed if your initial contact isn't aligned correctly, but once it is aligned and inside of the indent, gently push the rest of the label down, making sure not to create any air bubbles. And boom, you're done. Pop it into the Game Boy and give it a spin. I personally think the lavender looks obnoxiously pretty on the white background. I also like to set my screen to emulate the classic booger green color of the original Game Boy. Before I go, here's a quick before and after. Quite the stark difference, I'd say. Alright, that's the video. Thank you for watching. I've been Luis Miranda, and I'll catch you on the next one.